Hello, and welcome back to I Love. I am Podan. On today's episode, we'll be discussing one of my favorite films from 2018, The Predator, because I love The Predator. We're going to start these episodes off with a little movie roll call. The Predator was released on September 12th of 2018, directed by Shane Black, produced by John Davis, and written by Shane Black and Fred Dekker. John Davis, the producer, has actually produced all Predator films to date. This includes Predator from 1987, Predator 2 from 1990, Alien vs. Predator from 2004, Alien vs. Predator Requiem from 2007, Predators from 2010, and of course, The Predator from 2018. Other works we would know our director Shane Black from: Kiss Kiss Bang Bang from 2005. This is notable because this is the first time Shane Black directed a film. And one of my personal favorite films from 1996, Long Kiss Goodnight, written by Shane Black. This is a famous movie for being sold for $1 million, the $1 million script, and it didn't do so well in the box office. But I love that movie. Make sure you go and check it out. Fred Dekker, our writer, we would remember from 1987's The Monster Squad, a fantastic Goonie-like film that he actually wrote with Shane, and Fred directed this film. In 1993, Fred Dekker directed RoboCop 3, and he wrote the movie with Frank Miller. That is the Frank Miller from the comic books. Our main characters in this movie are Quinn McKenna, the sniper, Rory McKenna, his son, Dr. Casey Brackett, the scientist. We have a group of loonies in this movie, they call them, which include Nebraska, Baxley, Coyle, Nettles, and Lynch. Our bad guys are Agent Traeger, his second-in-command Agent Sapir, Sean Keyes, notable because he is the son of Peter Keyes from 1990's Predator 2, and Agent Church. And of course, in The Predator, the Predators are characters as well. And we have to include the main Predator, known as the Fugitive Predator, and the big bad, we can see right here, known as the Assassin Predator. We're going to wrap this roll call up with the overview of the film, which includes: when a young boy accidentally triggers the universe's most lethal hunters to return to Earth, only a ragtag crew of ex-soldiers and a disgruntled scientist can prevent the end of the human race. Very nice, very nice. So now I'm going to do a quick but effective review of the film. Obviously, I loved it. The Predator was a fantastic installment to the franchise. It was action-packed. A lot of great story elements were added to the Predator as a whole. The character, the Predator, of course, I mean. Shane Black did an excellent job writing this movie with Fred Dekker. The dialogue, of course, Fred and Shane's movies have very, very unique dialogue with lots of swearing and very funny dialogue. The movie had some very, very action-packed scenes, opening with a Predator spaceship chase battle, and getting all the way through. We get a Predator captured in a science lab, and he's getting experiments done on him. This is a great scene. Then we even move all the way to a Predator literally telling our team that he's going to hunt them and kill them. So run like hell. Now that is fantastic. So, of course, I loved The Predator. Now, for anybody who hasn't seen the film, this is what we are going to call spoiler time. And let's see here. We're going to start with my favorite parts of the film. And this is going to include the lab scene. I loved the lab scene. If you forgot, the lab scene is the part where we have the fugitive Predator locked up in the laboratory where the bad humans, I am going to classify them, that includes Traeger and his men and Sean Keyes, and they are doing experiments on the Predator. We get to see the Predator close up. We see some really, really badass action with the Predator. He even uses his mandibles to bite a guy to escape. Big big mandibles like the comic book kind of characters, which is nice. I like that a lot. And when he finally does escape, he kills so many men with hand-to-hand combat, and even uses a machine gun to get away, and using another Predator helmet that they must have had to locate his own helmet by using their technology. Must be hooked up through like a Wi-Fi type of system, and he got to figure out through that where his helmet was, and inevitably the device, which is what he's looking for, which is very crucial to the story. Next we have the Predator Gets a Ride, I like to call it. This is just a fantastic action scene and extremely funny. It's the scene when the Predator actually fully escapes the lab, and it's great because he's on the top of a truck leaving to, I'm guessing, try to find the Predator who's still there, and he gets inside the truck, kills 6 or 8 men, I think, in the back, just slices them all up. The guy in the front is all like, what the fuck? What is that noise? And the Predator grabs a hand off the ground, forms a thumbs up, sticks it through the window, and the guy looks back and he's like, fucking guys.
Everything okay back there? You fucking guys.
And that is awesome. That's some Shane Black humor. I love it. My next favorite scene is the assassin Predator communicates back home. And I call it that because we don't know who he communicates with, but there's the part when he finally kills the fugitive Predator, the escapee, we will call him, and he rips his head off, lets the humans go, and you see him use his communicator. And I love this because it lets us know that the Predator world is just so much more vast than we've ever seen in most of these films. We usually just see a couple guys. And in this one, the Predators are talking to each other, and this one is talking to someone else, whoever gave him his orders to kill this one, but basically we can just assume Predator homeworld, which is fantastic. And then we wrap this up with him saying that there are many human leads. He sees some squad cars roll up, and he hocks a loogie on the squad car that's burning, which is hilarious. He spits on the squad car. And I love this because it makes our Predators have so much more character, personality. And that's a new taste in this film that we haven't really got in all films to date, except for, I guess, Aliens vs. Predator, because he becomes friends with the girl. The Predator really isn't a character. He's more of a monster. You don't really communicate with him. He kills everything and everybody. So I like that. I like that a lot. Best lines. Gonna have a section for best lines of the film. First one is gonna come from Rory. He is an awesome character in the film and a funny, funny kid. But one of his first lines with the mailman. And I'll show you the line right here, so that way I don't butcher it. But it's when he gets the package from the mailman. Here it is right here.
He works for the government, does he?
MOS Swallenby 3VW3. Military designation. He kills people. So you can be a mailman.
That is fantastic. Next one, pretty much the whole part when Quinn is in custody, his dialogue between his captor, his interrogator, and of course the response from Traeger behind the glass with his second in command Sapir is priceless. Priceless Shane Black dialogue, and I love it. We'll take a quick look at that scene too.
You were once quoted as saying, I dropped from my mother's womb, I hit the floor, and I started crawling through hostile territory toward my grave.
That's badass.
It's pretty morbid.
That's pretty dark.
And I would have to say my very favorite line in the film actually comes from one of the Predators. That is right, the assassin Predator gives a little speech after he butchers all of Trigger's men except for, I think, 4 or 5 of them. And he goes right past them like a big badass, goes into the ship, and he basically rigs up some explosives, and he uses their interpretation device to talk to them. And it's just so awesome. And he says some great stuff, such as, I have enjoyed watching you kill each other. There's one among you that I have deemed worthy. Now, go and I'm going to hunt you. Please go. You have time advantage. Let's take a quick look at that scene because it is fantastic.
Hello. I have enjoyed watching you kill each other. I came here to destroy this vessel. You cannot have it. What you can do is run. I detect one among you who is a true warrior. The one called McKenna.
That was awesome. I love the fact that we have the Predators speaking in the film, and it happens on numerous occasions, which makes the Predators stand out as a special film. It's not just a sequel to the other films, it's an evolution or upgrade of the films. More of a comic book feel, I like to say. So this brings us to our next section, which is going to be Easter eggs, because all movies nowadays have special things, hidden meanings, and awesome things in the background that I would like to pay close attention to and bring light to. So right off the bat, a great thing is when we meet Dr. Brackett, the Agent Church. He mentions that the Predators have come here numerous times. He straight up mentions 1987 and 1997. Boom. Canalizing Predator 1 and 2. We are aware of them. That's awesome. Fantastic. They usually mention Predator 1 in most films. I think Predators and Predator 2, they actually mention it. I don't think they mention them in AVP, really, but beyond the point. But that is just awesome, because we're getting a timeline now. We know that things have happened before, and possibly even after. Our next Easter egg is Sean Keyes. Gary Busey's son plays his character, Peter Keyes, from Predator 2 in 1990. His son, because remember, Peter Keyes gets killed, cut in two, with the smart disc right there by the Predator, and that is awesome. So Sean Keyes is here working with who I have dubbed the bad humans. I can only assume that we have bad humans, bad predators, and good predators that we are establishing in this film. Because at the end of the movie, we meet very good humans that say they've met predators. So I'm saying that the agents and Sean Keyes are bad guys, along with, I'm guessing they were CIA, I think, in Predator 2. Peter Keyes' group. So they're the bad humans. They basically want to butcher the Predators. Take their biology and take their gear. So when we meet Sean Keyes, a really cool thing happens here, because we get to see those cool glass cases. And those glass cases, in that scene, there's two of them. We see the right one first. And in this glass case, we get to see some more continuity stuff. So in the first case, we see the telescoping spear from 1990 Predator 2 and the AVP tail spear that the main Predator made for the girl. Now, that's fantastic, because now AVP has happened as well. Predator 1 and 2 has happened as well. Predators has happened, I'm guessing, still before this, and so has AVP 2, but I'm guessing that those aren't mentioned because of the circumstances of the film. In Predators, the characters are kidnapped and taken off world, so there's not really any way that anybody on Earth could have evidence of that encounter. And then AVP2, of course, we remember that the company involved at the end, they basically nuke the city and erase that whole event from existence. So the only people who would know about that is that agency or the company, and I'm guessing, I think it was Yutani, they say, the company that will merge with Wayland. So that's why those two events are not mentioned at all. And then, let's see here. We also see, in the left case, the mask and laser cannon from Predator 1, which is awesome. So that's fantastic. And of course there is also the extra mask, which must be, we can only assume, from another Predator between films, and maybe a friend of our fugitive Predator that has come earlier. Lastly, we have our final Easter egg, which is the Predator Killer armor at the end of the film, which I didn't mind this. I actually, in the Predators comic book here, which is a sequel, and it tells the story of Predators, there's a final chapter here in the end where the Adrian Brody and the girl, they actually get given Predator armor to fight bigger foe until a big Predator comes to fight them. So I just see the Predator Killer armor maybe not as a sequel piece, but possibly as a callback to comics that we have created in the past and connecting it to the other films as well. So that to me is just a callback to Predators and the armor that is given to Adrian Brody by the Predators, again, to fight Predators and stuff, to prove their strength with the gear that Predators have as well. Make a fair fight, as it were. That wraps up our Easter eggs. Now let's go to some fun stuff. The things that I really love about this movie. Right off the bat, in addition to the film that Shane Black and Fred Decker have added to the story, is that we have elaborated now on the reason that the Predators take the trophies. Which is awesome, because in the past, all the comics, the only reason that they ever took them was just for a trophy, you know, to be like, this was the best part of the hunt, he was worth it, that signifies, the trophy signifies the end of the hunt, basically. They can go back and go for another hunt. But now, with this film, we get this whole upgrade thing, where the Predators actually take the DNA out of the spines of these kills, and then they actually inject it into themselves, basically take the trophy, take the power of the kill, kind of like some old Native American proverbs and things like that, where they actually thought they could consume the souls and powers of their kills by drinking their blood and things like that, which is great, because the Predator has always been a very tribal being, very honorable, and I like this addition to the story, so I'm all for this. So Predators now have human DNA within them, and all kinds of creatures from all over the universe, because if you remember, Trigger even says that the Predators have conquered the universe.
Predators just don't sit around making hats out of rib cages. They conquered space.
I love that. That is a fantastic addition to the story. That means that they are the top of the food chain. Well, now it's the upgraded Predators, and we don't know yet. There could be a whole clan of these guys, similar to the Bad Blood comics, which we are coming up to very soon here now. And that's what I want to say about the upgrade Predator. If we all notice the upgrade Predator in this film, he's very big, and we have an explanation for why he's big. And in 2010, when they made Predators, there were the three Predators in that film, the Berserker, Falconer, and the, I think he was the Boar Predator, they dubbed them. And they basically were bigger, and they don't really explain why they're bigger. If you remember the character who steals the Predator gear, he tells the other people that they're hunting each other. There's bigger ones. There's two kinds of them. So I also see this upgrade thing in this film as an addition to the whole mythos, and it gives us an explanation to Predators, actually, a little backstory, which we didn't need in Predators because of the fact that the movie was kind of a castaway film. Like, you want to be out of the backstory. You just want to be in the moment so that you feel like the people in the story getting hunted and having no chance. Which is kind of, it seems like the philosophy of these upgraded assassin Predators. They don't really care. They're just killing to make themselves bigger and stronger and better than even the Predators that do not believe in these things. Which is fantastic. And this has happened in comics in the past in a way. This comic book right here, Bad Blood, I'll show you some pics. This is a great story, one of my favorite comics, actually the first Predator comic I ever read. And the main character in this story is a big bastard of a Predator. We meet him in a ship of butchered Predators, and he has killed all his own people, and he's running, and it opens very much like The Predator, where there's a ship running from another Predator ship, but it's reversed. In The Predator, we have the good predator running from a big bad predator. But in Bad Blood, the bad blood predator is running from a clan of enforcer predators who are trying to kill him. And that story, make sure you read it. It doesn't go too good for the enforcers, but a fantastic read nonetheless. Next, we have the connection to Concrete Jungle I like. You guys might remember Concrete Jungle is the original sequel of the 1987 film. But some cool parts in this movie is the fact that our main character, he takes predator gear, notably the predator mask, which is a very useful tool that he ends up using to basically learn more about the predators and see them, which is awesome because Rory, when he gets the predator mask, he eventually puts it on. He, of course, uses it as a Halloween costume, which is funny as hell, but he puts it on and he sees the story, which is awesome. It's like a little backstory which plays, and that's cool. Call back to AVP 2, because the wolf predator who is hunting the pred alien takes a fallen predator's helmet to see what happened. So their helmets are, like, in a sense, always recording, like a hard drive, which is fantastic. So Rory sort of taps into this, sees that whole upgrade thing, which is just awesome. And that seems like another callback to Concrete Jungle, which is cool. I very much enjoyed that. Another fantastic thing I like in this film, another callback, is the predators fighting predators. I mean, we always see people fight predators in the films, at least. We've seen the aliens. But it is good to see predators fight predators because, let's face it, they're the strongest in the universe. And we got to see that, of course, in Predators. We got to see this in Bad Blood. We get to see this also in a story called Prey to the Heavens, which is a great story. It takes place in, I believe, the Middle East, where there's, like, rabid predators eating rats and just, like, killing everything, and a group of predators come down to, like, stop them, and once again, it doesn't go too good for them, but another great read, and the art is fantastic. Let's see here. We establish that there are two groups of humans and two groups of predators. I like this a lot, because this gives us more possibilities for comic book sci-fi predator movies that can connect to these, which would be like a trilogy of these movies where we would have some predators, which, fun fact, there was supposed to be two predators helping our main characters in this film. They were dubbed the emissary predators, and they actually wore army fatigues and had their single gauntlets on and their helmets, and they actually were supposed to help in the battles. There are some early set photos of these guys, but none of the footage has surfaced in, sadly, the DVDs or Blu-rays. We can hope for a future version of the film that has some of these cut scenes in them. But Shane Black himself wanted to release a version of the film that would have both cuts of the movie on it. And he was going to call it Predator Night and Predator Day, which would have been awesome. And we would have actually, I feel like for almost the first time, gotten two cuts of the same film that would have been so much different, because the movie would have been so much more action-packed. But they decided in the end they wanted the movie to be far more thrilling and dark and rated R, to feel more true to the original movies, which is fantastic. I love the film that we got. So, final thoughts on The Predator. I would love to have some sequels. Fantastically, John Davis, the producer of the film, would like Shane Black to make 3 of these movies. Now, I would love this to happen. He said that he really liked this movie a lot. He enjoyed the action, the plot of the film. And who better to say that than the man who has literally made every Predator movie we have ever seen, sorry. But Shane Black has also weighed in on this, saying that he would love to, but he takes one movie at a time. And I think right now he is working on Doc Savage, which is a project he's been working on for a very long time. A DC film. Keep your eyes peeled for that one in the future. But final note as well, I thought it was kind of cool to know that this Predator film, The Predator, was the highest grossing Predator film yet, making a $160.5 million. Now, that does not mean it made the most money. It just, in total, grossed the most money. which is cool to see. It makes the studios see that these monster movies can do better and make more money. And we can weigh that next to Predators was the next down, which made $127.2 million. Predator made $98.3 million, and Predator 2 made $52.1 million, which is awesome. I mean, these movies have always done great. I would love to get more. We all love Predator films. And actually, I would love to hear from you guys. Comment below on your favorite part of The Predator. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.